What's up, everybody? Welcome to Big Black Guy Reviews. I'm a big black... What the hell is going on? Where did all this new stuff come from? What's with the whole new setup? What the hell happened to my old chair? Where'd all this high definition come from? Whose hair is this? I fear change! Ah! Never mind. It's cool. What's up, y'all, and welcome back to the actual return of Big Black Guy Reviews. I'm a big black guy. Still, that's right, I am back. Bigger, blacker, reviewer. Yeah. Yes, it's been a hell of a hiatus, you know, life shit and shit. But as of now, I have returned. And I wanted to kick this comeback off with a nice little throwback to one of my favorite overlooked 90s comedies ever since I was a little kid. It's Loaded Weapon 1, or more accurately, National Lampoon's Loaded Weapon 1. Back when that actually meant something other than low budget to no budget, high to low brow, lowest to low brow, fucking just painful to watch sex comedies for teens who have no idea. Just, what happened to Fall from Grace? And I don't mean Tyler Perry's Ashtray Bitch. That was a weird mashup of words.
Ashtray Bitch!
And he wouldn't leave.
Loaded Weapon 1 in its infant stage was originally planned as a film adaptation of the 1986 to 1988 sitcom Sledgehammer, which was a parody of the Dirty Harry type characters of that era. But when Sledgehammer's series creators, Alan Spencer, decided to part ways due to creative differences, the producers decided to develop their own IP as a spoof of every buddy cop film that's come out since the 80s, among other pop culture references, with Danny Glover and Mel Gibson's Lethal Weapon as the main motif.
He's the criminal's worst nightmare. He was ready to retire.
God! Oh!
Raj, meet your new partner.
New partner?
You ever met anybody you didn't kill?
Well, I haven't killed you yet.
On a quick side note, Lethal Weapon would eventually be adapted into a television series for pre-Disney Fox. And I gotta admit, when I first heard about this show, I was hella skeptical. But as I opted to give it a fair shot, I have to admit, I was pleasantly surprised with what they turned up, you know? It was a legitimately entertaining show that had me craving for more, it was being its own thing while keeping the essence of Riggs and Murtaugh's character enough to still feel like Lethal Weapon.
What the hell are you doing?
Martin Riggs, we're gonna make a great team.
I want to make sure there's no one else left for you to kill.
Just you and me.
What you said? You only meant well, of course you did. And despite that, I really enjoyed Season 3, and look forward to what they'll do with Season I'll Never the Fuck You Mind Then. The film stars pre-Pulp Fiction Samuel L. Jackson, Emilio Estevez, back when he was considered worthy of top billing, like the mighty duck fuck he was, Kathy Ireland, fresh off her role in Mom and Dad Save the World, and William Shatner in a role I've yet to see him outdo, in my opinion. Music by Robert Falk, he does an amazing job recreating the feel of Lethal Weapon while also still being its own thing. And honestly, to be perfectly honest, for me at least, this theme song sticks in my head way more than Lethal Weapon. else I remember about Lethal Weapon is saxophone and synthesizers, which this one does, but it's like, I don't know, just you get the point. But it was directed by Gene Quintano, who also co-wrote the script with Don, and this was actually his third and final directorial film effort after the 1990s Honeymoon Academy and Why Me?, neither of which I've seen. His other notable works are like Police Academy 3 and 4, 1986 through 87, respectively. He was the writer. He was a writer on Operation Dumbo Drop. He was a writer for Sudden Death with Jean-Claude Van Damme. 2001's martial arts classic, The Musketeer. And with his film and writing credits sort of just ending with 2004's Funky Monkey.
When it comes to trouble, he's the monkey in the middle.
You took my purse! That's right, you're the chip!
How messed up you gotta be to get kicked out of a zoo?
Funky Monkey.
Let's just not even go there. With a box office budget of about $8.2 million, it really only grossed about $28 million. Which, you're wondering how that could have happened, and why, but you gotta remember, 1993 was a huge year. Like, this was the year of Sister Act 2. The most underrated bro film of the bro generation and the bro decade of the broness. Sanka, you dead man. Hey, it's that dude from Dennis the Menace. Every day is exactly the same. People wanted to know what happened with Tom Hanks' AIDS. Willie, Free Willie. Sylvester Stallone won't stop hanging on to stuff. Spielberg wants to depress you. I didn't kill my wife. It was the one-armed man. Hello. That was a terrible Mrs. Doubtfire impression. My apologies to Robin Williams. Rest in peace. Yeah. And last but not least, the release date was February 5th, 1993. Just 2 days after my 7th birthday. Nice. So this is actually probably like one of the earliest movies I ever really remember seeing. Like, memory-wise. But as far as critic ratings go, it got a... Google users have given it 92%. IMDb has given it 6.2 out of 10. Empire, 3 out of 5. Rotten Tomatoes, 17% critics, 49% audience score. So, take that for what you will. You'll either love it, or you'll hate it, or you'll think it's okay. Our movie starts with an introduction from our Martin Riggs equivalent, Jack Colt, played by Emilio Estevez, fresh off of Mighty Ducks, as we get a glimpse into what's likely his day-to-day routine of being emo in random places.
Nice weather we are having today.
Nice weather? You think we're having nice weather? I guess you didn't lose the only one that meant anything in your life. I guess you don't feel burned out by the human misery and despair forcing you to guzzle cheap wine and cheaper whiskey to dull the pain that shatters your heart and rips at your soul. What flavor ice you got today?
Kiwi cherry. Kiwi cherry.
Yuck.
आज का मौसम अच्छा है बहुत. मौसम अच्छा है आज.
This feels a little close to home.
Who can relate? Woo!
We're then introduced to two suspicious-looking characters.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any of these in taupe?
No taupe. Beef jerky.
And you call this a convenience store?
Open up the cash register.
But in moments like this, we need a hero to rise.
I'll splatter your brains. Take it easy.
Excuse me. These scuzzballs mind if I join in?
Bullets, bullets, guns and bullets for us. Both this city is hard. Shooting caskets, mirror entrance. Cursed always the annoyed. Not your teammate. Damn, this seems great. Crank doors are closing once. Excessive force with no remorse. All in the name of justice.
I thank me. Just a cop doing his job.
Don't worry, everything is boom. We stopped the terrorists.
Meanwhile, Billy York, played by Whoopi Goldberg's Cameo, gets a visit from everyone's favorite cinematic crossdresser.
Who is it?
I'm just a sweet transvestite.
To be fair, this does take place in LA. They then proceed to show each other they're both more than meets the eye in what can only be considered a Battle of the Bulge. A Battle of the Bulge. The Battle of the Bulge. The battle.
Where is the microfilm?
I don't know anything about any microfilm.
We're then introduced to our plot-starting MacGuffin, the microfilm. Why do I look like I'm ready for surgery? Sorry.
This is too important.
So important that anybody with an earshot should listen to each and every detail?
That important.
And you talking about the microfilm, which holds the recipe for turning cocaine into innocent-looking cookies?
Yes.
I don't know anything about it.
Tell me!
McCracken.
Dan McCracken or Mike McCracken?
Mike. Park on 3rd. You'll never find a spot on Alpine.
She's dead, John.
Next, we're introduced to our second protagonist, this film's Danny Glover equivalent, Wes Luger, played by the incomparable Samuel L. Jackson, motherfucker, whose acting career was old enough to legally drink at this point. He arrives at the crime scene to investigate the death of his former partner.
Suicide, huh? She must have caught herself by surprise.
He's then given 2 small clues, a box of Girl Scout cookies and a box of matches from the Squealers Hotel. Knowing he has some deeper digging to do, he'll first have to overcome certain obstacles. We're then given a brief glimpse into the reclusive lifestyle of our, down on his luck? Alcoholic hero as he proceeds with his daily routine, including a glimpse into his true motivations for his downward spiral.
I miss you so much. I'll get the bastards that took you.
Cut to our hero's police headquarters, where we're introduced to a plethora of sight gags, including a cute blink-and-you'll-miss-it cameo.
No, he had fuller lips, pouting lips, wide eyes. Yes, that's him.
Mr. Potato Head was promptly arrested later that movie. Mrs. Potato Head would also be fried and convicted as an accessory to crimes against the Yukon.
Some of you might recognize the witness as actress Lin Shaye for her work in the Insidious franchise. But did you also know she had even smaller bit parts in Dumb and Dumber and Dumb and Dumber-er?
And I stand by my performance.
Don't let her pass!
But before we can unite our soon-to-be partners, we're first introduced to this film's hard-assed, no-nonsense, high-volume police captain, portrayed by former Chicago Bears defensive tackle Frank McCrae, who, not only did I used to confuse him for being a dead ringer of my grandpa, practically made an entire acting career out of playing loud police chiefs and captains in films like 48 Hours and his ultimate police chief rant in Last Action Hero.
You slip the belt on and cut the toes I can take from you. I got the California Ranger cousin doing all me a bunch of the Darren and Frank Larry, which you better go down the beach, go down the beach. You know, you take the chickens off the back and stick it out.
I don't think York was a suicide. She was on to something.
On something is more like it. You know those wilderness girls cookies with laced with cocaine.
No wonder I couldn't eat just one.
You're gonna be naked on this one. Now you blow it, you're going down. You screw up, you're gonna be hung out to dry. If you're embarrassed this department, your pants will be dancing with figs. Is that clear?
Everything but the pants fig thing.
And with that awesomeness out of the way, as well as the story's groundwork being laid out, it's time for our official buddy copping to begin.
Captain, you know I work alone.
You get the case, you get Jack Colt.
A loose cannon, a walking time bomb. Most of all, he is gun happy.
Where do you get off saying that?
To be fair, this does take place in LA. Seems normal to me. But moving on to a cameo by Emilio Estevez's real-life brother.
Forget it. I've only got 48 hours.
Wrong, Sarge. 47 hours, 29 minutes.
Yes, that is Carlo Estevez himself, Charlie Winning Sheen, who shot this cameo around the same time he was working on Hot Shots Part 2. Another awesome parody.
When she disappeared, I had a feeling we were being followed.
And I don't have much of a segue into this next clip, so much as I just really love this moment.
You may be right. I think we're being followed now. Don't look. Just play it cool. I'm gonna try and lose him.
Nice driving.
Thanks.
It's just such a special kind of out of nowhere. Like most of these jokes that I can't help but embrace the brilliance of the stupidity, you know? Anyway, back to the plot. Our next scene is the home of Mike McCracken, played by Dennis Leary, as he sings along with his lovely lounge ladies, one of whom is played by Denise Richards, right before her infamous role in Wild Things with Neve Campbell, only a few years before she'd eventually marry Charlie Sheen. And they lived happily ever after.
Got in a fight on the phone with his ex-wife, Denise Richards, and just straight up called her a nigger. Like, literally, just like, he was like, listen here, you nigger. Like, really? He didn't say, like, I hope you get raped by, or something like that. You know, he didn't Mel Gibson it. Like,
oh, well, damn. Never mind. Moving on. Now it's time to bring on this film's main antagonist, General Mortars, expertly played by William Shatner. And this has to be what I still personally consider his best performance I've ever seen. Like, when he's supposed to be intense, he comes off genuinely unhinged and intimidating, but when it's time for him to crack a joke, like, no matter how silly, his delivery never feels out of place. Like, making him one of my all-time favorite comedic villains. Like, don't get me wrong, like, Tim Curry always takes the cake in that category, but I got to give credit to the Shat-Man on this one. Although I might want to rethink that nickname. Either way, Mike doesn't have what Mortars is looking for, so...
Where's the microfilm, Mike?
After a hilariously failed attempt to resolve a shootout across the street, our heroes arrive at the Squealers Hotel, where some upstairs gunfire leads them straight into some pretty dated cameos.
This the Billy York informant shootout?
Larry! Is this the Billy York informant shootout?
Check out the third floor.
Thanks.
Fun fact, although Chips was a show about highway police, they never once fired their guns in the entirety of the show's run, making them almost less dangerous than E.T.'s walkie-talkie agents. Ooh, look, a subtle Breakfast Club reference.
See the Billy York informant?
Get your shit together, will ya? That's Becker 403. I do not mean a single word repeated 1,000 times. Is that clear, Mr.
Nice. Which brings us to the introduction of our Joe Pesci knockoff, portrayed by the one and only John Lovitz. The character of Becker is Billy York's informant, who's been doing some money laundering for your standard ex-military psychotypes.
All right, I did some money laundering for your standard ex-military psychotypes.
What? I don't care if you think I was being lazy. You come up with a better way to put it. So our heroes offer Becker their immediate protective services.
Come on, level with me. How bad is it?
You'll be fine. You'll be back on your feet in no time.
And with that, Colt and Luger haul ass to the McCracken crime scene so they can go be detectives and detect things with their detectivityness and their detectuality. And if you think how I'm saying this is dumb.
Those two try to make a getaway.
Now, Moroni, I'm going to concentrate on you.
I don't know. This may look like a suicide, but my gut tells me there's something else going on here.
Colt informs his partner of a key piece of evidence he took from the crime scene, which totally goes against Luger's by-the-book procedural character cliché.
Do you want to crack this case or not?
Not by making up the rules as I go.
Sometimes, pal, those are the only rules that work.
Taxi!
have a sneaking suspicion that someone is onto these two. Just a gut feeling right here. Meanwhile, inside the criminal headquarters, the exterior of which would later be used as Patty's Pub for It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, we're given a peek inside the business dealings of General Mortars' drug operation. We watch and wait as a henchman does a taste test to verify the, let's say, phenomenally potent cocaine. Hey, Mikey, I think he likes it.
I like doing business with smart men. They know never to screw with me.
Our duo arrive at the Wilderness Girl headquarters, and after Luger makes fun of a woman with buck teeth, I just love the look on his face, they meet the face of the company, Destiny, who immediately takes a mutual liking to Colt.
May I change before I go?
You should always wear your hair down.
And with those introductions out of the way, we move on to our next parody set piece.
Misdemeanor, this would not be a good time to lie.
Do you need help shaving your legs?
Show a little respect. So, how many men have you slept with?
Here we go, guys.
For those who don't get the reference, that's a spoof of Basic Instinct, a semi-erotic thriller starring Sharon Stone's Vagina. Or at least it should have gotten top billing, considering how much people talked about that instead of the actual movie. It's only when Colt drops her off that we learn she's actually in bed with the enemy. And yes, she does elaborate on that later.
They're not on to you. No more innocent people have to suffer.
You're letting compassion intrude. It's an unbecoming trait.
No, seriously, in this overly goofy-ass comedy, tell me Shatter doesn't make you legit concerned for Destiny's safety. Cut to Mr. Jigsaw getting the drop on Colt.
Drop your gun, Mr. Colt.
What's going on here?
Drop your gun, Mr. Luger.
I don't have one.
Pick up the gun. Drop the gun, Mr. Luger.
Come on, shoot him! Shoot him! Shoot him! Shoot him!
Shoot him! Shoot him! Shoot him!
Drop the gun!
And with that awesome moment, the chase is on. And just because I've always wanted to do this editing cliche, the internet's leftover jokes.
So you let him get away, huh?
So, with the failure to apprehend Jigsaw under their belt, Colt arrives at his seemingly invaded home where he stumbles across a very lucky lead.
Did I come at a bad time?
So what are you doing here?
Waiting for you.
I mean, what brought you here?
A taxi.
Yeah, but why?
My car's in the shop.
I mean, why the hell did you come here?
It turns out Destiny showed up of her own volition to double-cross the psychotic Mortars. Why the change of heart, you ask? Well...
Blow in my ear like you were blowing away the metallic blue discharge wafting from your barrel after you've spent your full load. That was magic, Colt.
Because they have clearly fallen in genitals with each other, of course. Love! I mean love. I love Lamp. Meanwhile, evil lurks about with plenty of shells to go around. Hey, look, everybody! It's a cameo from Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis is my...
Known the world over for his action-packed, well-written, top-shelf thrill ride of a holiday classic, Surrogates. In sarcasm.
What the hell are you doing?
Is this 1014 Pacific Coast Highway?
No! This is 814 Pacific Coast Highway!
Sorry, my mistake.
No problem!
And once the bad guys find the right trailer, Colt and Destiny make a run for it.
Next time, instead of just smoking cigarettes in bed, do you think we could actually make love?
Sure, but I got a partner to warn.
So Colt rushes to Luger's home, unaware of what dangers lie before him. Possibly a toilet bomb even?
What's wrong?
Nothing. Taking a shit.
Sorry.
I want to tell you I appreciate what you did today. Coming to warn me like that. Most people I know wouldn't have done that.
Well, that's the advantage of working with strangers.
With the bond between the partners growing, they head to the captain's office to point out the ridiculousness of this film's plot.
A guy dressed like a wilderness girl with a German accent killed York and tried to kill you too. And that tonight there's a drug deal at the cookie factory.
I know it sounds crazy, Captain, but...
It is crazy! Consider this investigation closed!
I'm gonna nail Mortars for the York and McCracken killings.
You may be headed in the right direction, Colt, but you're doing all the wrong things to get there.
I thought maybe I was getting through to you. Sometimes you can't play by the rules. Well, I'm going after Mortars. Alone and by myself.
In case you weren't sure what he meant by alone. So Colt goes rogue as he refuses to let anything other than some misplaced subtitles get in his way. Except, of course, his most formidable opponent, Mr. Jigsaw.
Mr. Colt.
Oh, well, never mind. I guess it's time to start amping up those stakes in this third act right about now, huh?
All right, General. Your cookies crumbled.
Perhaps you should take a look at this first.
Let her go, General. Because you want this.
Thank you.
Yay! Tim's back!
Put your weapon down.
Put down yours, General.
You haven't got the guts.
Oh, well, never mind. Evildoers, take a number. Cause Jack Colt is here to put you all through way too many glass panes.
Hold it. Okay.
Mortars decides to take a shot at a distracted Colt as Destiny fulfills her, fate.
Kiss me.
May not be a good idea. Like I'm got a touch of the flu.
Please, God.
And I have to give credit that this film put the jokes aside long enough to give a genuinely sweet moment for these characters, which adds a level of levity to Colt's MO. But let's wrap this up.
It's over. The jig is up. The Rubicon is crossed.
Getting sloppy, son.
Well, it was still sound advice.
Drop the gun, General.
Luger, you came.
It's personal.
Oh, man. Luger almost sounds like Booger. I just realized that.
Shoot him, partner. Shoot him, shoot him, shoot him, shoot him!
You're a cop. You have to play it by the book.
Oh, just kidding.
Oh, shit! Tim Curry's back! Oh, well, never mind. With the bad guys dead and the cookie operation officially crumbled, our partners receive the captain's final thoughts.
You almost got yourself killed. Wished I had more men like you.
Thanks, Cap.
Sequel.
I'm driving.
I'm driving.
I'm driving.
I'm driving. Okay.
And that was National Lampoon's Lethal Weapon 1. And it is still in my top 10 list of my favorite parodies of all time. Especially one of my favorite comedies from the 90s. You know, right before Freeberg and Seltzer just drove the genre into the unappealing ground. Which for some people started with the Scary Movie franchise. Others blame Date Movie. But I pinpointed, at least for my taste, with Epic Movie. What? I saw value in Date Movie. A value menu size value, but who doesn't love a good dollar menu every once in a while? But I digress. Lethal Weapon 1 is a hilarious, underrated gem. A comedy packed with so many jokes, so many sight gags. Like, even though I've seen this movie dozens of times since I was a kid, I still found things that I had missed, jokes that I had overheard, like just so many things like I've overlooked, like that I found out about while I was working on this review. And I'm telling you, like what I've shown you here, you think I don't know the whole plot, so I don't need to see the movie. No, there is so much awesomeness that I had to cut out, like just to try and make this a decently timed episode. Like I was trying to keep this under 30 minutes, you know, like ideally would have been about 20, but there was just so much I had to have in here and so much I wish I could have had in here. Like I'm probably going to do like a little side thing for my Patreon of just like, you know, just some extra scenes and, you know, picking out little specific tidbits here and there that I really like. Hey kids, can you say rewatchability? Fun fact, the one in Loaded Weapon 1 was supposed to be more than just a joke title, but the first in a planned series. Rumor has it they already had the sequel poster ready to go, but when the film wasn't a success that the new line was anticipating, all hope was lost and everybody moved on to other projects. But considering words resurfacing that a non-It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia related Lethal Weapon 5 is underway, with Gibson and Glover returning, maybe, just maybe, there'll be enough interest to coax a Little Weapon 2 out of Jackson and Estevez. They're definitely too old for this shit. But yes, National Lampoon's Loaded Weapon 1. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Have you not seen it, but maybe this piqued your interest? Have you not seen it and you know this just turned you all the way off on the concept of even checking it out? Let me know. There's comments. You can put them there. Do that shit. There's a subscribe button around here somewhere. Click that bitch. You know, share this motherfucker. You know? This ain't for kids. I don't give a fuck. Fucking it. Fucking it. Fucking it. Fucking it. Fucking it. Fuck. The movie's PG-13. I'm not. Eat a dick. Oh yeah, Patreon is a thing. I'm working on that because, yeah, I would love to keep doing this, but money helps.
I know what you're thinking, punk. You're thinking, did he fire 173 times or 174? Well, do you feel lucky, punk?
Considering how bad you are at math? Kinda.